Was United Healthcare CEO actually shot with a Welrod pistol from World War II? Well, let's investigate that right now. Howdy, folks. You're watching Deuce, and I am a proficient hobbyist for suppressor usage, and we're going to take a look at what that shooter actually used. As always, safety first. None of the pistols up here are loaded, nor do they have magazines. Also, there is no pistol ammunition on the table. There is ammunition on the table because I am starting to reload M1 Garand ammo, so I'm a very happy Deuce, but these are safe. From the very short video that we see of the shooting, you'll notice that he has to manually cycle the action of his pistol. What does that mean? Okay, well, when you have a normal gun right here, you will fire the gun, and when you pull the trigger, it of course shoots the bullet out through the suppressor or whatever, and it will automatically bring back the slide, eject the shell, and then load in the next round, so you can just let go of the trigger and then pull the trigger again. That is how a semi-automatic pistol works. But you'll notice this shooter pulled the trigger, shot the firearm, and then had to manually cycle the slide and then let go of the trigger and then fire again. It was not automatically doing that for him. And that is the reason why a lot of people are thinking that he is using a World War II style Welrod pistol, which was used in covert operations because the thing was half suppressor. The suppressor was built onto the barrel. You can buy a modern interpretation of the Welrod pistol, and I think they're in 9mm now, but I don't think that's what he's using. The reason why I think he's not using a Welrod pistol is because when he's clearing the action and chambering the next round, he grabs the top of the pistol to rack back and not the back. When you cycle the action of a Welrod pistol, you grab the back of the gun, not the top. Let me show you this with my suppressed Ruger Mark III here. You cycle the action of a Mark III by grabbing the back and pulling back. So it's like that. That's very similar to a Welrod pistol, except there's also a twisting motion. So you grab the Welrod pistol, you grab the back of it, you twist, pull back, push forward, and then twist back to lock the action closed again. It is not semi-automatic. It is not a single shot because it does have a magazine in the grip. Actually, the grip itself is the magazine. You take the entire grip off and put a new grip on to reload the magazine in a hurry. So it's basically a bolt action pistol. So twist, unlock, push forward, twist. That's what you would see if the shooter was using a Welrod pistol. Due to YouTube being YouTube, I can't show the video, of course, but I'll put some stills up here where what I saw during the video is when the shooter needed to cycle the action, he grabbed the top of the pistol, the top there, and pulled back. He didn't grab the back. He didn't do any twisting motion. He cycled it and then shot again. Your next question should be, why was he having to manually cycle the action if he was using a standard pistol such as this Glock? The reason is because that big huge suppressor hanging off the end of the barrel. Pistols do not like all this extra weight. This weight on the end of the barrel really inhibits the cycling action of a pistol. There's a lot of devices that keep it from being such an issue, but that can be a problem as well. I'll get to that here. In order to keep the weight of suppressor from impacting the cycling of the pistol, you use what's called a booster or a Nielsen device. They're the same thing. I guess they were invented by Mr. Nielsen, but most suppressor companies call them boosters. What the booster does, it allows you to mount the suppressor onto your pistol, but it remains loose. It is allowed to move back and forth just a little bit, just enough to let the action cycle without all this weight having to follow along with it. This suppressor stays put while the action does its thing. And here's what the booster looks like. That's the booster right there, and this is sitting inside the suppressor. So that right there, that's what we're looking at inside. If you wanted to take this all apart, this is what would come out of there. Here's the meat and potatoes of a booster. This end right here is threaded and it goes onto the pistol. This end is mounted to the suppressor. And the suppressor slides back and forth on top of this piston while, of course, the pistol is doing its thing. So at this moment in time, with very limited information except for that short piece of video we have available to us, my belief is that the shooter had a normal pistol such as this Glock. Not sure what make and model he's actually using, but let's just say it's a Glock. And a suppressor with either a malfunctioning booster or no booster at all. The two reasons why a booster might be malfunctioning enough to jam the cycling action of your pistol. Number one, most likely, it was not lubricated enough, because remember, This is the piston. It's like a piston in your car. It needs lubrication in order to function and move smoothly because it's very tight tolerances that you're talking about here. And if you don't have that lubricated, it will jam up and not work as expected. The other option, which I don't know what temperature it was in New York, but I'm sure it was very cold. If it was sub-freezing temperatures, there could have been some moisture that got into this and froze, again, not letting the piston do its thing and move back and forth. The other scenario is that the shooter suppressor did not have a booster on it at all. Now, when you buy a pistol suppressor, it will come with a booster housing, ready to rock and roll, and you just purchase the piston that is supported by your pistol because there are different pistons for different types of pistols. This shooter could have been using a rifle suppressor that was also big enough to be put onto a pistol, such as this Silencer Co. Hybrid. I've got this set up with a direct thread, which does not have a booster on it at all, but it can be put onto a pistol. It's a 45 caliber can. Can's another slang term for suppressor. This is also meant for rifle use. Along the same lines of a rifle suppressor, the shooter could have been using a homemade suppressor, either something made on a 3D printer, which would not last very long, but obviously got the job done, or a tube from a mag light. Of course, this is an actual working mag light, but back in the day, a lot of people used the tube off of a mag light body as the basis of a suppressor. I mean, that's pretty that's pretty identical sizing right there. And as long as you're not really concerned with how long the suppressor will last, they're not that hard to make, but the booster requires a lot more skill, a lot more machining knowledge than just making a tube and filling it with baffles like a muffler. In my opinion, I think the homemade suppressor, maybe even a complete homemade gun, but definitely a homemade suppressor is probably what happened here. And that's the reason why it didn't cycle. And the reason I say that, if you watch the video, he does not try to work out the problem when there's a malfunction. Go straight to racking the slide again. So he shoots, and immediately he's not trying to work the problem. Normally, you drop the magazine, you see what's going on, you rack it a couple of times. No, this person immediately knew he was going to have to manually operate that slide. And that's my theory at this very early state with very little information. So eventually we're going to find out all the details, and this video will probably be wrong. But right now, I think that is a very good guess. If you want to know a little bit more about booster technology and what happens with your pistol, with and without a booster, I have a video right there for that that is highly detailed and highly demonetized. So enjoy that. If you like this video, hit me that like. If you like to see more of this, hit that subscribe button, because I put out a video like this or something similar every single week. If you have any comments, questions, or show ideas, leave that down in the comments down below. I'll try to answer as many of those as possible. And as always, you guys have a great day. See ya.